Y'all right?
Your feelings today.
We are extremely pleased with this verdict. I think, as we have both said, all of us in law enforcement and really our community have said that the evidence in this case was overwhelming, and from the very beginning, from the minute I saw the video of Markeith Loyd executing Deborah Clayton, I dreamed to this day that he would be found guilty of this charge. So we're extremely pleased, and yes, I've said it before, I do believe this is a death penalty case. The death penalty in this case is warranted, and it's not warranted in all first-degree murder cases, but the murder and execution of a law enforcement officer in our community is definitely warranted. Many of the aggravating factors for death penalty are here in this case, so that's what we are hoping for. I do want to thank Ryan Williams from the 5th District State Attorney's Office and for his unbelievable job he did on this case. And we're here to support the community who went through this with all of us, losing Deborah, who went through the whole manhunt with us. We're here to support Deborah's family, of course, Seth and Johnny and the rest of the family members. And we're here to support all law enforcement. And I do believe now that this is still a country where it's not okay to kill police officers. It's not okay to shoot at law enforcement. It's not okay to hit a law enforcement officer. And I'm very thankful for the jury for seeing this evidence and with the outcome that they made.
Chief, anything else?
Yeah, I could not agree more with the sheriff. So many lives were affected by the actions of Loyd, and justice has been served today. We just hope that the penalty phase will include what he deserves, in our opinion, which is a death penalty. So, again, we are very appreciative of the prosecution, the great job that they did with this case, and the point that the sheriff also made, it was an execution. This was not a killing of someone, it was an execution, and the videos clearly show that.
So, is there anything either one of you can pass along from Deborah's family, any sentiments?
I'm sorry?
Anything you can pass along from Lieutenant Clayton's family?
Oh, absolutely. The people who are standing behind us have been there with the family the entire time. The support that has been given from all law enforcement officers, not just the Orlando Police Department, our law enforcement community to the Claytons is absolutely is commendable. And we will continue to provide that support. Obviously, they will need it. They're very shaken by everything that has happened here, and this will affect them for years and years to come.
I know it's been a long time
Everybody
coming.
that talks about Lieutenant Clayton, they just speak about her in a way that they just glow. Can you just kind of give us a little glimpse of what made her so special?
Deborah really did her best to win the hearts of the youth in our community, to continue to build that trust. As a matter of fact, one of the programs that she was involved in, called Dueling Dragons, is having their annual party tonight. Some of the kids who started in that program will be there, and that was what she did. She, I think we said in the funeral that her smile was electrifying and just absolutely lit up the room. She's a very positive person, someone everyone wanted to be around, and obviously she had many friends, not only at the Orlando Police Department, but all across Central Florida, and we still miss her dearly to this day.
Sheriff, not a lot of emotion in the courtroom, almost as if this was expected.
Well, the judge does give certain instructions on outbursts and emotion. So, as far as the law enforcement community, this is something that we're used to. We're used to, keeping our emotions in check. I got to admit, it was hard during this one because, I think like everyone else, I started to have my doubts. Anytime a jury is involved, and it's hard to get 12 people to agree on anything in this country. So I really started to have my doubts. But I thought about all the evidence that was there, and I continued to pray that this would happen.
Were you expecting this, Chief? Were you expecting this verdict? I mean,
We were all hopeful that this would be the verdict. This is the right verdict. But again, we have to allow the judicial process to take place, and the jury ultimately is responsible for the decision that they make. The prosecution, though, did an absolutely great job of presenting everything. There was nothing that was questioned that was not answered during this process, and obviously the jury sided with the prosecution.
Do your departments get closure now? Because both of you, they were all involved in this. It's been a long, long road.
Well, one thing I must say, obviously you talked about the great work that Deborah did. That's the kind of work that many law enforcement officers are doing across our country every day. It's unfortunate that sometimes a tragedy has to strike in order for that to be recognized. So we will continue to live by what she obviously showed our community and many parts of this country, that the law enforcement profession is doing a lot of good.
And you want to talk to the family immediately after, like just right after?
So just our really congratulations, and hang in there. We still have the death penalty phase or the sentencing phase to go through, and just told them as we always have, we're going to be there with them forever. Really, we've talked to Seth and the family really since January 9th of 2017. That hasn't stopped, and just like we continue to talk to all of our survivors, that won't stop. It's just they're always going to be part of our family.
Will either of you be testifying in the penalty phase?
No.
And Sheriff, did you say you had your doubts when the jury came back today, wanting to rehear the testimony and maybe thinking more about who fired the first shot? I mean, is that when it all kind of crept in?
Yeah, I really did start to have my doubts and get a little nervous, especially when the jury wanted to hear testimony about who fired the first shot. And there is absolutely no excuse ever to fire at law enforcement. Deborah was lawfully making the arrest of a wanted murder suspect, someone who had killed his girlfriend and his unborn child. And I think Ryan Williams was masterful and did an amazing job of laying all that evidence out. And in my mind, it was extremely clear. And like I said, we saw the video that day on January 9th and knew that day that this day would come. But you always have doubts anytime a jury is involved.
Any
For
message
the
from
jurors that aren't used to seeing this every day, I mean, I know officers that I spoke to that day that saw the video and the emotion that they portrayed. For an average person who's not used to seeing what you guys are used to seeing every day, mind you, you're not used to seeing one of your own get killed, I'm told it was just awful. And for an average person to see that over and over and over again on a jury,
it was awful for me to watch. It was awful for law enforcement to watch. You even saw Pete Acadias on the stand kind of wince when he watched the video again. I can't imagine the jurors felt any different. And it's one thing seeing that on the internet or on TV, but when you see the video of an actual person that was killed here in Orlando, and the killing of a police officer, it's caught on videotape. That's a rare occasion, and to have to witness it, it was very tough on them. We thank the jury for their involvement in this case, and for they're really taking their time and doing the right thing in this case.
And that video also rehatched a lot of our memories of what we experienced that day when Seth and Johnny and family members and members of the Orlando Police Department literally just could not control themselves as to how they were affected by emotion of losing their loved one. And that, to me, was probably one of the most touching moments when I saw the video of what happened to Deborah. Just brought everything back when we dealt with the support mechanism that we had to put in place to make sure that we took care of them, along with our needs in the process. So.
Sheriff, you had said yesterday you didn't buy Loyd's tears. Today, any message for him, any message for anybody on his tears from earlier this week?
The message that we have for him is justice is served, but more justice is coming. And we don't feel sorry for him. We don't care about his lame excuses. He is a murderer, and that was proven in court twice now. Not only was it proven that he's already killed 2 people and an unborn child. Remember, he also attempted to kill Captain Joe Carter of the Orange County Sheriff's Office. He attempted to kill Shadi Dixon's brother. He's a murderer. He never deserves to see the light of day, and we hope that he gets the death penalty in this case.
And because of his actions, we also lost Norman Lewis that day, who was coming to assist, with the investigation during that process. So the harm that he has caused this community is beyond anything that we could ever expect from another human being.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you, man.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Running with time.